Ladies and gentlemen, action, action, action. That's what you're going to be getting out of this series between Katz and EGAxslav. And right now, Katz is one game away from being knocked out of the tournament entirely, as EGAxslav did something a little bit unconventional for EGAxslav, at least. Yes, it might not be unconventional for others, but for EGAxslav, he opened up with a one gateway into a fast Void Ray, followed up by a Phoenix, which actually enabled it to do significant damage. A lot of the times you'll see more Void Rays coming in, but in this case, he went for the Phoenix, and he was able to pick up not one, but two queens and bring them down that way. Then with the Phoenix harassment, drilled his opponent into the ground. I mean, Katz really didn't have a chance at any point, regardless of his Hydralisk drops. Will he be able to come back from this? We'll find out, folks, as we go into Game 4 right here on the IGN Pro League. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the Shattered Temple right here. Will Katz be shattered? Will his dreams, his hopes be dashed against the rocks right here? We'll find out, but he is in the yellow trunks, and he's playing Zerg from Team Root up to the north of this map versus his opponent in the close air positions once again. I bring you EGAxslav. Yes, in the red trunks, he is playing Protoss. Well, this is potentially dangerous right now for Katz. Katz thought he had the measure of his opponent. He was able to get up that early expansion in an area where you wouldn't otherwise think you would, simply due to the nature of Crevasse, the map that they were previously on. EGAxslav scouted the wrong location, and Katz was doing really, really well until he was confronted by the Air Force of EGAxslav. He didn't see that coming a mile away. He didn't have the creep spread to get both of his queens into action to defend against it, and he ended up losing his queens, his entire expansion, and a large number of drones in the process, and the Phoenix harassment followed it up, and Katz the entire game was sitting on sub 100 supply. I believe by the end for the final encounter he was sitting at about 60, which was not great when EGAxslav had about 150. It was absurd. It was one-sided. And will Katz be able to come back from that? Well, he's certainly not going to be able to expand early on. EGAxslav will deny that almost immediately, and this is not the kind of map where you can do what he did on Metalopolis, where he was able to take the gold mineral expansion instead, so he's pretty limited in what he can do. Not looking for any particular nonsense right now, or is he? We could go, of course, for the proxy hatcher in the base. He's been known to do that, but he's not going to do that right now. Is he going to try and simply drive him away? Oh, nice slide in there. Oh, yes, that was a bait and switch and a half, and Katz was able to actually get the expansion away from EGAxslav, who was driven away there, really not positioning himself too well at all. A little bit of a mistake. Could it prove to be critical? We'll find out. Katz in a good position. He's where he wants to be, but will EGAxslav apply early game pressure again? Will he go for that Stargate build? And more to the point, will Katz be able to counter it if he does? Down comes the spawning pool right now. EGAxslav, once again, not really known for that early aggression. The Void Rays came in a little bit later on. It was early for EGAxslav, certainly. But will he do anything of the sort again, or will he try and engage Katz in a lengthy macro game? And if he does, then EGAxslav is in a position where he could win it. He's got a very strong macro play. His economy's really, really good. He's a very defensive player. In the meantime, Katz is highly unpredictable, which could prove to be problematic for the solid but nonetheless passive style of EGAxslav. And we'll find out what exactly he decides to do very shortly. Extractor down, spawning pool down, and expansion is on its way. Double assimilators coming for EGAxslav. EGAxslav is not the kind of guy that goes for 4 gateway aggression. We've only ever seen him do it once, and that was when he had a proxy pylon in the back of the base of his opponent, and it still ended up failing. So I don't really rate him too highly in terms of the early game, but that starport play that he did earlier was extremely powerful. Let's keep an eye on his economy, folks, and see what exactly he's going to do. Not too much coming out of him for the time being. A simple sentry could be looking for an expansion pretty early on to try and match up to his opponent. It would make sense, honestly. Doesn't want to be economically behind his opponent. In comes Katz. Getting the mining rolling, no problems at all. Zerglings now on the field. Tends to open up with 2 Zerglings and 2 Queens, then going into Speedling upgrade. It's a good defensive and, more to the point, good economic move. Those double Queens really, really help an awful lot. A lot of drones very, very rapidly if need be. And, of course, you have the option to pop out plenty of Zerglings if you need early defense. Pylon going down right here for EGAxslav, but he doesn't have the money quite yet to actually do any real expansion. An interesting position for that as well if he decides to maybe build a forge down here or another gateway, then expand behind that. Katz sees it. Immediately intercepted. EGAxslav driving him away very easily. The mineral count starting to get a little bit high for EGAxslav. He also has a lot of gas right now. He could warp in more sentries, but really he's only sitting on one gate and now a second gate just active. Surely going for an expansion here. But once again, another sentry coming out. So we expect to see that very shortly. Spinecrawler coming up for Katz as well. And Katz will have to look to expand at some point in the not too distant future to try and keep up with his opponent. However, his economy looking pretty good right now. He's not quite ahead of his opponent simply due to that drone transfer, but he will be pretty shortly. Never mind, in fact, that was me misreading that. EGAxslav actually a little bit behind after that big drone spawn from Katz. And there you go. Nexus on the way up. Here comes that hallucination again. We've seen this build before. 2 gateway into hallucination. Not really focusing on robotics till much later on. And actually, EGAxslav did end up winning that game regardless, so it could prove to be very useful. A sacrificed overlord used to keep an eye on things. How much information did it really get? It got 2 gateways, nothing else really. Forge went down after the overlord was destroyed. I do not believe he didn't actually get any scouting information from the cybernetics core either, so he doesn't know about the hallucination. He'll find out about that very soon, however. 4 gas coming up really quick for Katz right now. Wouldn't be surprised to see heavy Mutalisk play early on in the game as a direct result. Lair is on the way. That would tend to support that theory. And in the meantime, he'll try and hold the line with those Zerglings. That said, there won't be any real aggression from his opponent anyway. He's not in a position where he can attack it. Once again, only with 2 gateways and a forge, so very heavy defensive style. And, of course, that defensive style will prove to be useful against a flock of Mutalisks. However, he's going to need a lot of photon cannons to repulse the number that could be coming. We have a look at the gas count right now for Katz. He is sitting on 300. Of course, he'll have much, much more than that once the Spire comes up. He is preparing for a massive, and I do mean massive, maneuver when it comes to those Mutalisks. How many will he bring in? Huge numbers, I can only imagine. Double evolution chamber coming down as well. Will we also see Hydralisks from him at some point in the game? He's been using them an awful lot, although he hasn't been gaining too much success with them. Another expansion coming down. Still a ton of gas. Will we see the Spire from him? In the meantime, another gateway infestation pit coming up instead. Not going for that approach. And perhaps a really good idea, considering the fact that EGAxslav is known for his defense. He's known for having a lot of photon cannons, so it might be a little bit dicey. Infestors and ventral sacks. You know, I really should learn from this. Never, ever, ever try and second guess what Katz is actually doing, because nobody knows. You know, Katz is actually clinically mad. That's the only thing that I can really think. An infestor drop? Really? A possibility. Banelings coming in as well, so it could be a Baneling infestor drop, could be fungal growth in combination with Baneling bombs. That would be absolutely fantastic to see. Whether or not Katz can pull that off, and whether or not it's actually a little bit of an overly elaborate strategy, I don't know. We'll find out. Robotics coming up very, very late once again for EGAxslav right now. More gateways on the way. Defense looking pretty good, and an initial push is on its way. 20 Zerglings versus 9 Sentries, 4 Stalker. That will probably end up in favor of EGAxslav. However, there are a couple of spine crawlers deployed, so that might make matters a little bit more difficult. In fact, 3 spine crawlers ready there. Stream across the map right now, looking for an interfere. Can he get the surround right here? Looks for it, tries to get the interference. He's not able to do it. However, good force field placement there by EGAxslav, driven away very rapidly. Here come the Banelings, but will they come up in time? They might get scouted, but they're going to take a lot of damage right here from the spine crawlers. Good focus fire coming down right now. However, doesn't lose a single one. Those Banelings might not be ready in time for this. He goes up the left field, needs to flank around. Here comes the force field, blocks him away, needs to get out of there immediately. Oh, he's trapped in the middle there. Not good at all. And that expansion under grave threat as it continues to take fire. Infestors are on the way. Will they be up in time? 1 infestor up, 2 infestors up, in come the Banelings. Bare minimum damage done there. Once again, force fields are preventing any damage really from coming in. This play is not working out at all for him. In he comes, looks for the fungal growth, drops 1, drops the second perhaps. No, he doesn't. He is not able to take too many at all there. That expansion is looking kind of doomed right now. 30 more Zerglings on the way. The energy of those sentries is running quite low. That infestor has no energy, not able to do anything. Needs to pull it back almost immediately. Once again, taking big damage right now. It's going down to 50% HP and falling rapidly. Needs deployment. Needs something to deal with this. He can't. Down goes the expansion. A critical economic blow right now for Katz. In comes the surround. It's not enough. These Zerglings are doing nothing right now against the force fields of EGAxslav. EGAxslav able to hold out very easily against this. He's created his own force field fortress right here. It's a fortress. That makes no sense. It's great nonetheless. Down goes the infested terror. Will it survive? It will. Only just. This is not helpful at all for Katz right now. Katz in a massive amount of trouble. That expansion down, which is not what he wanted at all. A firm economic lead. Now, in the meantime, EGAxslav was able to expand behind that. He's very, very secure right now. He is not remotely concerned. Looking to re-expand there, looking to try and take another expansion in the corner, but still, this isn't good. Katz is getting into a position that he was in the 2 games that he lost, whereby he took initial damage, he lost an expansion, he wasn't able to defend, and his economy started to bleed out, like the previous game. EGAxslav not quite as aggressive this time around, going for a push around the 10-11 minute mark, but honestly, Katz's force composition I would really question. A huge number of force fields available, and yet he decides to go with Banelings? That doesn't make a huge amount of sense, particularly bearing in mind he did not have the Baneling speed upgrade either. Infestors are a good choice, however, he doesn't have a huge amount of things to back them up with, and EGAxslav is great at pulling back when he absolutely needs to. He's not going to give Katz an opportunity to get aggressive. Certainly not to catch him out of position, which is very risky when you have a Zergling and Infestor combo, because of the sheer immobility that can be inflicted on the Protoss player by the use of fungal growth. 2 Colossi coming in, double Robo Bay is up, double Robotics Facility in fact. Double Robo Bay, a little bit overkill I think. Twilight Council on the way as well, looking for Blink Stalkers perhaps, maybe even through the Dark Templar, who knows when it comes to EGAxslav. He's really varied things up in the last few games, and he's showing his style very effectively. The scout reveals that the Infestors are on the field, and that could be dangerous right now. No Neural Parasite available, and bearing in mind that the Colossus also is severely lacking. But what's this? Baneling drop right now into the minimal line. How much damage can he do? It's good! It is very good there by Katz. Huge damage done to the economy of EGAxslav. The problem is that he's got these 3 fully functional bases. More Banelings coming down from the sky. However, EGAxslav, incredibly fast reaction speed, and a miscalculation there by Katz as he supply blocks himself, and that's not so great. Katz now getting out plenty of Zerglings, more Infestors. His economic harassment proved to be a little bit effective, but not enough. He is still lagging behind. His force count is not looking good. His army count, 143 supply to 85. Not what you want. Ultralisk Cavern on the way up for Katz right now. And really, will these unconventional strategies actually be able to break EGAxslav? That is questionable. However, Infestor Ultralisk does kind of make sense. Makes you unable to kite Ultralisks. You can lock them down, and then, of course, the Ultras charge in and do horrendous damage. Will he be able to hold up for long enough for that Ultralisk Cavern to even come into play? There's the fungal growth. Does he have the follow-up to it? A second fungal growth. A third fungal growth. Nails down the entire army. Minimal damage done. I believe takes a Stalker or a Sentry there. Not a huge amount. Losing 2 Infestors for the cost of that damage. And once again, there's no point doing that if you don't have a follow-up. The shields will regenerate, and it won't be so effective. Looking for the fungal. Quick blanket. No fungal growth for you, I am afraid. EGAxslav's reaction time's looking very, very good right now. There's the fungal. Locks down another. Will he take a Stalker out? He will not. Still minimum damage right here. These Infestors are not proving to be all that useful. However, he needs to hold the line and wait for those Ultras to come out. Infest him and it almost immediately. Once again, Katz miss-microing, looking for another fungal growth. It's not going to happen. It's blocked off. Nice blink right in there. It's good. He's able to land a fungal, take out a couple of Stalkers, but still, that expansion is going down. Where are the Ultralisks? He doesn't have them. They are taking far, far, far too long to come down. Are there any in that expansion? There are a couple, in fact. They will come out underneath this, and he might even be able to nail them down. He is able to kill the eggs if he focuses fire on this. And honestly, it doesn't matter if the Ultralisks come in. In the meantime, here comes the drop. It's a Zergling drop right into the base of EGAxslav, but look at how many photon cannons are there. He's already got 3. Tries to make his way through 1. And a mass warp in right now to deal with this. Plenty of Zealots coming in for EGAxslav right now, and he has level 2 weapon upgrade. Those Zerglings will not last all that long. Here come the Ultralisks. How many does he have? He has 3. He's got another 6 on the way. Banelings on the way as well. However, he's in an awful lot of trouble right here as the Colossi push their way into the base. What happened in his base? The economy got damaged heavily, but he's still got those 2 bases up, so that's not too bad at all. In comes the charge. There's the fungal, locks it down. Right now, the Ultralisk unable to do anything. Sliced apart. Focus fired. Nailed down. Baneling nest destroyed. GG, ladies and gentlemen. And EGAxslav takes the series 3-1. Katz is out of the IGN Pro League Season 1, so commiserations to him. Excellent play by both players. Highly entertaining games, and unfortunately, unconventional strategies of Katz were not able to overcome the sheer patience and poise of EGAxslav, who advances in the losers bracket. Ladies and gentlemen, my name has been Total Biscuit. I hope you've enjoyed this StarCraft 2 esports presentation as part of the IGN Pro League. I'm going to go fall over, because you know what? I'm kind of exhausted. There's plenty more esports action coming up for you guys, though, so don't go anywhere, and make sure to check out the rest of the games.